Hello, and welcome to another meeting of the Lotus Council. So what do we have today? We've got a Pauper deck tech. So I'm going to share one of the decks that I've been playing a lot lately, and it is a red deck win. But it's got a little bit of a twist. It's a Prowess-based red deck wins. So red deck wins, you need burn. So 4 copies of Lightning Bolt. If you're not familiar, 1 red for 3 damage to any target. And then 4 copies of Rift Bolt. It is red and tube. You can hard cast it for that for 3 damage, or you can suspend it for 1 red mana, and it exiles, and then at the beginning of the next your next upkeep, you can remove that counter and cast it without paying its mana cost. So basically, you set this up for the next turn, next upkeep to burn somebody. So I use the suspend quite a bit, but I have used the hard cast. So it is 3 damage to any target, so very much like Lightning Bolt. Then I have 4 copies of Lava Coil, recent downshift in Double Masters to 2022. So it is 1 generic and red for 4 damage to target creature. If it would die, exile it instead. So kind of a useful way to get rid of it. Then for card draw, because one of the big things that happens with red deck wins is you run out of cards. I like Reckless Impulse. So for red and 1, exile top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. This is really great. A lot of people like Light Up the Stage. It's a similar idea. You could do it for 1 red or red and 2. I like the consistency of the 2 mana. Yes, you are likely in this type of deck going to be dealing it for, getting that spectacle cost that you can pay. But sometimes you run out of gas and you just need to get going again. And I find that consistency helps a lot. Okay, so let's talk creatures real quick. So burn, draw. So we got to get to Lava Runner. As long as there are 2 or more instant and or sorcery cards in your graveyard, it gets +1/+0 and haste. So red for potentially a 2/2 later in the game. Really, really good. Kiln Fiend. It is 1 and red. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +3/+0 till end of turn. Not bad. And then, of course, another Double Masters 2022 downshift. You have Monastery Swift Spear. I'm going to show this art because I love this art. So for 1 red, you get a 1/2 with haste that has Prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. So how are we going to take advantage? So yes, we do have the burn and draw. Well, it's not red deck wins without really pumping your creatures up. So first we got a playset of Antagonize. So for 1 in red, target creature gets +4/+3 till end of turn. With the Prowess, that's 5/4. The Kiln Fiend is getting 7/3 till end of turn. So Antagonize really good in this type of deck. Then we got Tamir Battle Rage. Because it's not just enough to hit your opponent once, you gotta hit him again. Double strike. So Tamir Battle Rage is 1 in red. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. But it also has Ferocious. So if you're not familiar with double strike, it deals first strike and then regular combat damage. So twice. Ferocious, if you have a creature that is power 4 or greater, it gets trample. Kiln Fiend's going to hit that. Monastery Swift Spear could potentially hit that, but the Antagonize is going to trigger that. So I like to do Antagonize followed by this. Basically when they haven't blocked, or if they are blocking one of my creatures, I can pump it even more and give it the first strike and the trample over. So I have a full play set of that. And then just for the additional, I have Assault Strobe. So it's 1 red. It is a sorcery. Tamir Battle Rage is better because it does have the trample and the instant effect. This is just 1 red, though, for a sorcery. Target creature gains double strike till end of turn. If you know they're not going to be able to do much, Pop that on a Kiln Fiend, and you're going to hit up for 8 rather than 4. So basically all of the spells going into it. Mana base, 20 mountains. Super, super straightforward. The curve on this, it tops out at 3 with Rift Bolt, but you only need 2 mana to make this deck work, which is actually pretty decent. So I've been playing this one a fair amount at my LGS for Pauper Night. This can beat other red deck win decks fairly consistently. It's a really good one. But I do have a sideboard because, you know, you got a sideboard in for threats. So I have a full playset of Fury Charm. So it can destroy an artifact. Target creature gets +1/+1 and trample till end of turn. Or you can remove 2 time counters from target permanent or suspended card. Pretty decent. So if I need to hit him with a Rip Bolt immediately, I wouldn't do that. I would just hard cast it because it's the same cost. But that +1/+1 and trample, that's really going to do a lot in this type of deck. Then, because blue is blue, we've got red elemental blast. Counter target blue spell or destroy target blue permanent for 1 red. Strangle deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Well, in Pauper, planeswalkers don't matter because you don't have common planeswalkers yet. But 1 for 3 damage to a creature, pretty good. And then end the festivities. So this one, I go back and forth on the value of this one over Electra Trickery. So this is a sorcery, so you have to cast it on your turn. It deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. So it's a very wide hit for 1 red. Electra Trickery, the overload for 1 damage to all creatures you don't control, is red and 1. You can cast it at instant speed. So the reason why I ended up putting this one in is it also hits the opponent. And so if you're playing something like elves, you know you're going to be hitting the elves on your turn anyway and trying to knock them down. Yeah, the Electro Trickery, though, it's one that I keep going back and forth on. So I've got this one in here for the time being. It seems to work really well. So anyway, that's my red deck wins for Pauper. Pretty cheap. Let's see. This is the most expensive card in here is Lightning Bolt. You can get them for under $1 right now because of the reprints. So it got reprinted twice this year. So in Commander Legends Baldur's Gate, it is printed at common. Really great news. So they're running about 80 to 90 cents at my LGS. So really great deal for those. And that's really the expensive card. I mean, you could put this together. Well, Reckless Impulse is anywhere from 50 cents to $1, depending on where you buy it. Strobe is a little bit more. Temur Battle Rage is a little bit. And Monastery Swift Spear runs anywhere from 50 cents to a couple bucks for if you want the really fancy art. But for the most part, this is a super cheap deck to put together. You could probably put it together for, you know, around $20 or so if you have a lot of the pieces already. So anyway, that is my red deck wins for Pauper. So hopefully that was an enjoyable deck tech and it makes sense and it gets you excited about Pauper, the things you can do in Pauper. You're going to be seeing a lot of deck techs from the channel about Pauper. I've been really getting into it big time. It is so much fun. And it definitely is one where it's worth doing. So anyway, thank you for joining us today. If you're on the lookout for cards, like let's say you're trying to put together a Pauper deck, go check out our friends over at Geekified. You can find them at geekifiedoiowa.com. And if you want to know when we're doing our next meeting, go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell notification, join us in the Discord. Come join me in the Discord and talk about Pauper if you get excited about Pauper, because it is exciting. And with that, we also do other things in the Discord, so it's kind of fun to be in there. I would highly recommend joining the Discord. So pretty active community, lots of people chatting. We do play some games. We do giveaways. We do auctions and things for cards. So lots of fun stuff going on. We do box breaks. We try and do a really good price for the box breaks, and we've been able to come in under what you would find online at different stores. So we try and do our best there. So anyway, we want to thank you for joining us again and for spending a little bit of time with us. So thanks again, and we hope to see you next time. That's all we have for today, and our meeting is now adjourned, but we hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.